All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to G Ynot. I'm your host, Tony G. And right out of the gate, I'm going to do a public service announcement. If you see in this episode uploaded to This is the Future, unfortunately, that podcast, obviously, this is different. We haven't, Alex Rios and I have that show together. We haven't done any episodes in months. We haven't made an announcement. Haven't done anything. So this is that announcement. Here it is. Surprise, surprise. All right. So the announcement is that this is the future, unfortunately. While it's a perfectly fitting name for society and all of our headaches these days, Alex and I are not doing that show. We haven't done it in a while. We're still friends. It seems so stupid and cheesy and cliche. Like, we're still friends. We still talk on the phone. Sometimes I'm knitting a sweater and he's just telling me all his funny telltale stories. Long story short, we're still cool. The main reason that we kind of tapped out on that, both of us, because I haven't done this shit in months. None of it haven't recorded anything. It's just, honestly, it's the damn technology. We can't figure it out. That's the truth. No matter how many companies tell you how easy a podcast is to create, if you don't have those tools up here and Harbor Freight doesn't sell them, you're screwed. Yeah. So what was happening was we were recording some solid episodes, many of which never got released because we would record them. He'd be in one location. I would be in another. He's using Apple. I'm using Android. Believe me or not, it does actually matter when it comes to software. Maybe they've cleaned it all up now and they finally all talk to each other in a beautiful way, but they don't for us. Alex and I, luck is not something that we've ever had. So it didn't help our podcast at all. So we had 169 episodes. That's where we've stopped at 169, which is a beautiful freaking number if you're a pervert like this guy. So what a better number to pause on than that. That's just how it worked out. We may record again. Maybe I'll learn the technology better and I can come to Alex and be like, I have so much confidence that we'll have a great episode. Let's try one. Until that day, I'm doing a different show. So I've always wanted to have a second show because I'm so damn opinionated. You can let me go for hours. You'll notice that it's really hard for me to keep it on the rails. I don't know why everyone talks about their mental health disorders these days, but it's a thing. So for those of you who like to know what I'm working with, I have ADD, ADHD, PCP, THC, LSD, DMT, you name it, I've got it or I've been on it. And long story short, I'm a little scatterbrained. So when I do an episode, I will go off on tangents and then I will try to come back to whatever the hell I was talking about. Hopefully you all can follow me. That is kind of the madness that makes me funny. It's a lot of weird shit going on up here. I try to, stay on that pony and ride it straight down, but we veer off from time to time. So my focus is on this little episode. It's just basically a public service announcement. I'm doing a different show. It'll be called G Ynot, hosted by myself. I do have intentions of inviting people on the show. I already have some in mind. And if you watch the show and you're thinking, hey, you know what? I've got a funny story that I want to share, that kind of thing. That's what I'm going for with the show. It's all about humor. Look at my head. Let's look at my head first. Seriously, I always talk about my forehead, but it does not look good on camera. I'm looking at it and I don't like it. It just looks like it should just be bald, but then I just have like something growing out of the top like an onion. Okay, so if I'm going to put my big forehead on a camera every week, hopefully you tune into it and find it at least humorous. I mean, if you don't want to hear things coming out of my mouth, just, mute it and watch my forehead. But in any case, hopefully you find it humorous. I would bring people on that have humorous stories to tell. There's enough depressing shit going on out there. And I'll talk about it. I mean, I'm not scared of none of that crap. A few things, just so you all know what I'm all about. My backstory, origin story. I'm going to give you all that on this first episode of G Ynot. First of all, the reason I'm calling it G Ynot isn't just because it's Tony G spelled backwards, and that's really clever, even though it is pretty damn awesome. G Ynot is more than that to me. It's literally a question I've sit here and asked myself, not to sound cheesy, but G, why not? Why aren't you still doing a podcast? Why aren't you writing jokes anymore and getting on stage, Tony? Why aren't you offering some levity to these oh so frustrated people on this earth who are taking a lot of this nonsense that's out there seriously? Why aren't you helping them breathe and find humor in this bullshit? So that's why I'm doing it. Why not? It's a philosophy. Why the hell not? Why not take the chance? And interestingly enough, usually before someone takes a chance or does something stupid, they kind of tend to say, why not? Yeah. I once saw a girl do a whole plate of white powdered Molly. I mean, the plate. She just did the plate. It was covered in it. And she was like, why not? I mean, I was thinking, why not offer the rest of us some? It didn't happen. But yeah, so you'll notice that why not gets used right before someone does something crazy or something stupid. And I love why not, because I'm somewhat crazy and somewhat stupid. And I also want to point out right now, while y'all are getting to know me, that I put myself down as a form of humor. I can take it, okay? I was born in 1980. My friends and I used to stand around in circles and throw around slander, your mom is so fat jokes. We put each other down. Like that's how we developed our sense of humor. We used to stand in middle school in front of one of the buildings. My friends and I stood in a circle, and we threw around all those old school jokes that were not ours, but we had heard them. And the whole idea was how quick you could be. Someone would throw a "your mom is so fat" joke, and you would come back with "you're so skinny" joke, or "you're homeless because of this joke." Whatever the case might be, we were roasting each other. And here's what's crazy, and this is probably why I'm so screwed up and have different expectations, is because the students would stand around us. They would sit up on the rails, on the handrails, and listen like it was a free comedy show. And the teachers had different rooms up there. They used to hang out the windows and laugh. All right? These were insults. Now, we all knew we weren't talking about anybody's mama. We all knew we weren't really talking about Tony G and how skinny he is. So we could take it. So I can take insulting myself. And I have to tell some of you, since this is going to be a worldwide accessible show, I'm doing this shit on purpose. I can take jokes about myself. I can also tell jokes about other people, even though most of people these days, at least in America, forgot how to do that. I'm sorry that you're soft. We'll work on that. Okay? The more you can take jokes, the more you can deal with the joke that is society. Whoa, heavy. Whoa. In any case, a little bit more about me. Beyond that, that's where I really learned how to tell jokes, take a joke, that kind of thing. My origin story, which I like to tell because I think it's fun. I'm an only child. It wasn't a rough childhood, but let's just say my old man could have found better things to do than get married and have a kid. So he wasn't totally stoked about it, and it showed. There was a lot of yelling, a lot of stress, a lot of bullshit. And for that, I usually kept my mouth shut. I didn't ask a lot of questions because I just didn't want to deal with the outcome. I didn't know what it would be. So I see myself as being somewhat ignorant because I never had a brother or a sister, any older siblings, and I moved so much that when I did make a friend, we tend to leave. So if anyone was going to educate me on gender, religion, politics, any of that, they didn't get a chance. So I didn't even know what a liberal was until I moved out here to Oregon from the East Coast for the first time. That's when I realized what a liberal was. I didn't know what a Republican was either. I really didn't understand that there was a difference. Because when I came from the East Coast, I guess either everyone's a Republican or they just kept their damn mouth shut and didn't make a big deal about it. But now, living out here or living anywhere, it seems to be such a big deal as far as who you voted for. Whatever. I don't care. I don't vote because if you vote, then you can't really bitch about much, like George Carlin said. But if you don't vote, you have every right to complain because there's no reason to even participate. It's all screwed up. So that's my take on politics. But my origin story, as I said, my brain all over the place. Are you hanging in there? Do you need a coffee break? You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to my madness. All right, I gave you a break. I'll let you get caught up with me. So, comedy origin story. I wasn't allowed to talk much, so I was kind of a shy kid. So I can be a little, even to this day, 45 years old, I don't read a ton. My knowledge comes from experience. I've lived all over this country. I've lived in half the world because of the military mostly. I've had a lot of damn jobs because I'm scatterbrained and I get bored. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I have that tattooed on my chest, actually, adrenaline junkie. Not sure if it's spelled correctly because it was done in Georgia before Google, so we really don't know if we spelled it right or not. But doesn't matter. You can't read it anyway. The font's so screwed up. It could say borderline junkie, and that's more believable. In any case, yeah. So I got a tattoo on my chest that you can't possibly read. That's supposed to say adrenaline junkie because I like to change things. I like to do things differently. I like to experience different things. Life gets boring, so I like to take chances and have fun. Also, like to share my opinions and do stand up. So here's the podcast for that reason. But as far as my origin story is concerned, when you realize that you're humorous, I was on a vacation with my parents, 7 or 8 years old. We were checking out a timeshare. With timeshares, you can stay a weekend, see if you like it. I'll get to the end of that story. We didn't like it, but we did get a free weekend there. It was a ski lodge, and we had our own little ski lodge, a little A-frame place, and it had glass windows all in the front. And the power had gone out, probably because we didn't pay for the weekend, and snow's coming down. And it's just the three of us in this little place, and it's dark. There's like candles lit. And for some reason, I decided to do an impersonation of someone in the South buying chicken and biscuits. And I did the accent, and it went over really well. My parents were hysterical. Screw the TV that night. We didn't need electricity because I was electric. And from there, I realized I honestly wish I knew right then and there. But I wish it was like, bang, dude, you need to be a comedian. Like, I didn't watch SNL as a kid. I wasn't allowed to stay up that late. I missed a ton of shit that would have made sense. People are like, oh, you grew up with like Johnny Carson, or you saw this. No, I did not. As soon as the theme song, the ending theme song for the Wonder Years came on, my ass went to bed. That's it. Up to the age of 18. Just kidding. But what would you do when Joe Cocker sings that song? My little narrow ass went to bed. So anything funny and adult-like that came on after that, I didn't get to see. I did get to see the first episode of The Simpsons. I remember my mother reading out of the TV guide, which was a little paper book that told you when shows came on back then. First episode of The Simpsons. We watched it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't like it because I don't like cartoons. I know. Well, that's it. I just lost half of you right there. We're not friends anymore. Sorry. You don't have to write me letters or send me birthday cards. I'm not a big fan of cartoons. I think Family Guy's effing hilarious. I really do. There's a lot of funny shit that's out there, but The Simpsons animation just doesn't really do it for me. Writing, clever shit is what gets me. There is some clever shit in The Simpsons. I'm not against it, but I moved so much I didn't get the hook didn't get put in at the right time. So to me, it's like, and now there's 10 trillion episodes. It's never going to stop. It'll outlive me. The Simpsons will outlive me. So that's great. But I didn't grow up with any of that crap. So I don't know SNL or any of that. I still haven't seen a lot of SNL because when shit's already happened, you're trying to current stuff, So my humor comes from what I've seen. It comes from what I've heard. It comes from what I've done. The shit's real because that's all I know is what I've done and what I've seen and what I've heard. So if something offends you, right on. Cool. You should get offended. That's the whole point. Sometimes you're supposed to have a strong enough opinion to where you're like, nah, I'm not going there with him. That doesn't mean that you need to, have a meeting, start a group, come against me, come to my shitty 1-bedroom apartment, try and ruin my career. I mean, honestly, be doing me a favor at this point. I've been on a 60-day mental health break from customer service because, well, let's be honest. Us as customers, we're a bit much. And then on top of that, AI is taking my job anyway, and I really don't give a shit. So when you're not that motivated, who cares? But in any case, yeah, I'm no stranger to mental health issues. But if you don't laugh at something that I said today, don't worry. I won't hear it. And if you're so offended that you want to write a comment, that's cool. Do it. But I'm not going to go crying into my pillow. I haven't done that in 60 days, and I don't plan on doing it while I'm on a mental health leave because someone doesn't like my stuff. But I do hope that this shit offers you some levity. I'm going to share my experiences. As I said, I've moved all over the place. I was a grandpop at 42 years old. I've had 45 jobs at the age of 45. I'm sure I can find something to talk about that might entice you while you are grinding through your day, going to your job, or whatever. On top of that, I actually have some comedic friends and non-comedic friends who hopefully will want to join me on my show from time to time. And then we'll really get some laughs rolling because I'm okay on my own talking to myself. My cat would agree. She gives me 5 stars. However, I think it's a little bit funnier when you have someone to go back and forth with. So this is the introductory episode. Not going to bring you all on here and have you listen to my raspy ass voice an hour a week or whatever. I will try to spice it up. But this is something I've been wanting to do for myself for a long time, is to get another podcast going, and didn't want to lose the 40 subscribers that Alex and I have already worked for. So thank you very much. However, if you don't like me by myself, you can let me know by simply unsubscribing. Like I said, you don't have to quit your job and start a movement just to shut me down. Okay? Just like in an audience, a comedy audience, if you don't like something, you don't have to open your big dumb drunk mouth. You can just not laugh. Yeah. We usually hear it. Believe it or not, when you're on stage, you're hyper focused and the adrenaline's pumping. Yeah. You can tell when people only over here laughed and people only over there laughed, or the whole damn room laughed. We can tell how good our jokes are based upon how much you laugh. So I don't need you to write stupid negative comments and crap in here. Really, just unfollow me and that'll be fine. I'll get the message. My cat's my secretary too, so she always makes sure I get the messages. So I appreciate you all. But yeah, just to summarize, I'm not out here to personally offend you or your beliefs. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. That just means I've done a shitload of hallucinogenics and went way beyond God. And now I just believe in the universe. Politics, once again, I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm not a nothing. Okay, I'm simply an observer. I took a step back, and I get to watch the entire freak show, as the late great George Carlin once called it. We are the American freak show, and we get to watch that. I do want to give you something to go home with, to take with you, to put in your pocket. A little bit of a bit that's Carlin-esque, something that came to me as a realization, and definitely channeled through Carlin's type of way he would phrase things. And that bit is this, simply that I've lived on the East Coast, West Coast. I've lived in the middle of this country. I've lived outside this country. So I know how much people don't like us Americans. It's humbling. But while being in here in America, I can tell you that generally people on the East Coast would agree that everyone on the West Coast are a bunch of pussies. And everyone on the West Coast would agree that everyone on the East Coast are a bunch of assholes, which means you have East Coast assholes, West Coast pussies. That means that the Midwest is the taint that holds all this shit together. If you're paying attention, I just referred to America as the crotch of Mother Earth. Wow. On top of that, it makes sense because up until recently, people from other countries kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming in America. Now, for those of you who feel a little left out, I just want to say that, technically speaking, because of Florida looking like a giant phallic symbol, a penis, Mother Earth is actually transgendered. Oh no! I'm kidding. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just a country that's been pulled apart, pushed together. It was once Gowanafana land or whatever the hell, and now it's a bunch of different continents. But I like to make jokes about things that get everybody's panties in a bunch. So there you go. I just accepted. I don't know, sure what I did there, but hopefully I offended and made everyone laugh. Maybe, I don't know, made a few friends, made a few enemies with that. But am I wrong? Am I wrong? Isn't that pretty damn accurate? That's what you get from driving 60,000, 100 million miles across this country in a big rig truck. You just get to see people, listen to them, listen to their crazy shit. And you summarize it all and you're like, there it is. America's the crotch of Mother Earth, and apparently she's transgendered. So there you go. just enjoy your damn day. If that joke messed you up, then don't watch the next episode. But come on, I think it's pretty damn accurate. In any case, I think I'm going to leave it there. As I said, this will be a short warm-up episode just to get things, just to let y'all know I'm still doing it. Alex is still alive. We're still friends. And yeah, the new show will be called G Ynot. I'm your host, Tony G. I'll be bringing people on from time to time. If you've got something funny as hell you want to share with me, seriously, you want to share with everybody, a funny story, something that really happened to you, that's what I want to talk about. Why not? G, why not share a funny story? G, why not share a valid opinion? G, why not take a freaking chance and tune in next week to the next episode? Yeah, whatever. It's all tacky shit. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. And if you did, great. I guess I'll know if you click the little thumb or whatever you're supposed to do here to let YouTube know that you're engaging in their content that they don't actually own, but apparently do. So yeah, I'm crazy, and hopefully I'll see your crazy asses supporting more episodes of mine. In the meantime, it's Saturday. If you're not working, enjoy yourself. And if you are, enjoy yourself. All right, bye.